Welcome, weirdos, in the gory hole. I'm Gory B Movie, and tonight it is fight night for real. With me today is my co-host, partner in crime and all other things.
So are you in on murdering with Dino? Are you the Oscar Strangler?
Maybe, hun.
Cool.
Anyway, introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Daddy Knightmare. Hi, I'm a horror addict.
And with us today is our very special guest, Dino from the Late Horror Show. It's like the latest show ever.
Hello, guys. Hey, Danny. You're cracking me
Good to
up.
see you. Can't believe you accused me of being the Oscar Strangler, like, live. Bullshit artist.
Wait, what do you mean?
I said you are my partner in crime.
Oh, you didn't say
in
no.
all the things. You are.
Oh.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to, Danny. I was waiting for you to say
other stuff that I'm not ready to talk to you about just yet.
Oh, geez. Oh, geez.
All right.
Hey, yeah,
so Dino, if you're not familiar already with Dino, he has an awesome YouTube channel, the Late Horror Show. You can check him out for like late night radio shows. He just covers a lot of horror. Really is an expert on early full moon and universal monsters, as you can tell by his setup. Cool stuff. Danny here does full moon reviews on the full moon over on Horror Addicts. Links are in the description below. Yeah, so I feel like I'm surrounded by experts today.
Well, I don't know.
Let's before we get started, let's take a look and see who we have in the chat. We got members of the B Movie Coven here, Connie Cleary and Kevin from Haunted by Horror. We also have Now It's Dark. Dominic's here. May Ann, nice to see you. Jason, what's up? Ariel. Ooh, The Witching Hour. I don't think I've seen you here before, but I like the name. Welcome.
Witching Hour.
All right. I'm pretty excited, guys. So if you're new to Fight Night, this is what we do. We've got 8 fighters, 4 initial fights in the first round. The first round goes a little bit slower because we're going to tell you about these fighters. We're going to tell you a little bit about their backstory, maybe their strengths, their weaknesses, their notable defeats. And then we're going to argue who we think would win in a fight to the death, or at least to knockout, depending on the fight. But you guys are the ones that get to vote on the winner. That winner will go on to round 2. And ultimately, we're going to have crowned the toughest full moon fighter of the 8 that we have here tonight. So, yeah, I'm excited. Are you excited? Just to kick things off, who's your guys' favorite full moon character?
Castle Freak's my favorite movie. Unless you count Intruder. You're not here. I'm going to probably say Blade or 6-Shooter. I like the puppets. They're cool.
Favorite character? Okay.
Favorite character, franchise, movie?
I mean, Puppet Masters, you can pick any of them, but I stick with Radu.
Radu's cool from Subspecies.
Yeah.
I don't know if it counts because it was Empire, but I do love Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bolorama. So it's probably Spider would be my favorite. Of our fighters tonight, I think Radu's the most interesting character we have in the lineup.
Listen,
but
I got a
enjoyed
little
him.
love for Myron too. So, you know.
Yeah. I need to see, his movie isn't out yet, but he has a bride of head of the family. So here are our fighters for tonight, and the fighters. We've got Ariel says hers is Doll Man. I almost had Doll Man on this lineup. You know, we only get 8 fighters a night. So let me know if we do another full moon one, who you'd like to see. Like to mix it up. So tonight we've got Radu versus Castle Freak. We've got Killjoy versus Ebi, the evil Bong. We've got Myron, head of the family, versus baby Oopsie. And the Gingerdead Man versus Blade for our main event tonight. It is going to be an exciting night, guys.
Yeah.
Fighters, all shapes and sizes. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Our very first fighter tonight is Radu. I'm going to give him a brief little video intro. So if you guys haven't seen these movies, you at least know what the guy looks like. You can see some of his highlights from his movies. That's Radu. So, Dino, you are quite the Radu expert. Would you break down who Radu is and what his strengths and weaknesses are?
Oh boy. Radu's a vampire, ancient vampire, brought about by sorcery. They go into a little bit in the later movies, but yeah, I mean, listen, he's got all the powers of a vampire, everything you would love to have to defeat other villains. So, yeah, I'm not going to go in depth on the movies because I love them all, but yeah, he's a vampire. Radu the vampire. Lots of sorcery and black magic and vampires smushed together. So
one of the things I like is what
he's going to be
first
tough
thing
to
we see from him. He cuts off his fingers in Subspecies, and then his fingers become the Subspecies.
Like his little minions.
They're like his little minions. They're like these little claymation dudes that are cool, and they kick it with him. And then he dies at the end of that movie, which don't be sad because he always comes back. He always comes back. The Subspecies, like they put him back together because he's their master. But yeah, when he gets stabbed at the end of the first one, his bones become the Subspecies. He's come back from being put in the sunlight, being stabbed, staked, burned. Last we saw him, I think his head was on a pike, but I'm pretty sure there's another Subspecies movies in the works.
There's another one, yeah.
And he doesn't look like let being a butterface keep him from making a pass at the ladies. Like he's got that whole thing going on with what's her butt, Michelle?
Plus he possesses the Bloodstone, which basically makes him immortal. However, I'm not going to say it's just because he's drank from it, because his dad, who was played by the tall man from Phantasm, he also drank from the Bloodstone back in the day, and he never came back. So it's all pretty much Radu.
And it's important to note that he does not, he's got daddy issues, but he is a mama's boy. I love him, mama.
Yes, yes. And if any of the other people he goes against has a fear of spit, he will win automatically. So lots of spit on the Bloodstone. Just saying.
Very good point. Let's see. Our next fighter. Are we ready to move on to our next one?
Yeah.
Sure.
And let me know in the chat if there's anything you want to add about any of these people. Our next fighter here is a video intro for Castle Freak. He's naked.
But he don't have a dong.
Daniel, tell us what we need to know about Castle Freak.
Well, he was horribly abused and raised by an evil mom who cut off his dong and kept him locked up. And when his half-brother moves into the castle, because she died, he doesn't know that his freakish brother's dwelling the place, and it becomes a problem. If anything, he definitely has a nicer castle than Radu, and Radu has a pretty nice castle himself. But
he really does.
I think the castle
he gives it that homey touch, like
yeah,
because he likes to snuggles.
Back when full moon movies really used cool castles for their
they
actual
really, really did. So Castle Freak, it's based on a short story by H.P. Lovecraft. It's very, very short. I think it's called The Outsider. Yeah. But essentially, you just have this creature who does not realize how disfigured and malnourished they've been all these years. They finally see themselves and they're horrified. This creature is bloody and nasty and really, really strong. Very unfortunate for Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey Combs, who move in with their blind daughter. Oh, he likes to eat pussy. I mean, cats.
Oh boy.
Very violently.
Let's see what Fairpoint Station has to say. Castle Freak's penis was the largest in the kingdom, and his mom banished his sin stick and imprisoned him before word could get out. I feel like you are a poet and y'all don't even know it.
Yeah, I like that.
Beautifully
point.
What are you drinking, Danny boy?
I'm drinking George Killian's Irish Red.
All right, boys, let me know. They're fighting to the death. Castle Freak checking out Michelle or something. I don't know what's going on with their fight, but they're fighting to the death. Who is gonna win? Let me know in the chat. We're gonna argue it out, and then I'm gonna check in with your guys' comments.
Say the Castle Freak's castle's been abandoned, and Radu's moving in.
Yeah, somebody said can't wait to see the new Subspecies. Danny, have you been keeping up with the new?
Is there a remake?
I haven't seen the newest one. If it already dropped.
Well, have you seen the new like Dr. Death, Blade?
I haven't seen Dr. Death or Blade the Iron Cross.
I've seen the new Oopsie baby.
I think the last one I saw was Littlest Reich.
I've seen the new baby Oopsies. We've seen a few new of the new full moons.
They're not good.
Not gonna lie, the new baby Oopsie Daisy was surprisingly really good.
Well, the first out of the trilogy.
That might be the first one that I heard that's good. Okay.
But the new baby Oopsie Daisy movie was actually really good.
Okay, that might be the only one because everything sucked so far. Anyways,
it has two sequels that came out last year. They both came out. They just split them into two. They shouldn't have done that. Probably would have been better just to have one. They're not as good, but the one that came out 2 years ago was actually pretty good.
Good. Okay.
Ariel, I love the creature from Bad Channels. We're gonna have to add that for a future one for sure. Everyone's a big fan of your beer, and we got my friend Maverick Media here. I know Maverick's gonna be joining me on one of our upcoming Evil Dead streams, so that's pretty exciting. All right, guys. So who's gonna win? Danny, kick it off.
Well, Castle Freak probably will surprise Radu with his actual brute strength and his chain wielding craziness. But to be honest, I don't think he has a chance here. Radu's just magical vampire. I mean, I think the Castle Freak will freak him out a little bit and be more than he expects. But regardless, he's not winning this. Radu's gonna win.
Interesting standpoint. What about you, Dino?
Exactly like Danny. I think he's going. I mean, Radu's going to obliterate him. I mean, he may have some brute strength, but he's mortal, the Castle Freak. And the minute he flies at Radu's going to take him and either break off his head or suck the rest of his blood out of his body.
I think the Castle Freak has the only thing he's got going for him is the element of just pure craziness, that which Radu probably wouldn't expect from a mortal human, but it doesn't matter. He'll just go at him wildly without a dick, and that might also kind of surprise Radu. But once he gets Radu in a bear hug with those chains, Radu's gonna sink his fangs into the Castle Freak and win.
Unless
Witching Hour says there's no such thing as a bad baby Oopsie, to be honest. You know what? Honestly, aside from maybe Dollman versus Demonic Toys, it was crazy because of all the flash ups. But beyond that, I have to agree with you. Also, baby Oopsie was really rapey in that one. We'll talk about that later. Yes.
Same thing when they fought the Puppet Master.
Also want to say good night to my chunky Jordy. Nice to see you, buddy. So here are my thoughts.
Can I say something else?
Absolutely.
I think there is a way long term that Castle Freak can beat Radu, and that's if he somehow gets him to befriend him for what he's become, no penis and all, and he regenerates by giving him some of his blood, and Castle Freak starts to become more of a human type figure and grows back that penis and eventually befriends him. Maybe
this is my favorite fan fiction that ever fictioned.
And maybe down the road,
maybe
he becomes a little bit too close to Radu, and there's where maybe decapitation. Listen, even that's not going to kill Radu, but there is a possibility. Am I wrong, Danny?
A decapitation would get us to a KO, and that's what you need to win this fight. So if Radu is decapitated, even though we know he's going to come back, it takes those subspecies guys a while. It can take years.
It takes at least a roll credits in the next movie.
How many years has it been since the last movie? So this is just to get to a knockout. If we can get Castle Freak to decapitate Radu or something, that would be good. Here's the thing. Ultimately, I think Castle Freak might be stronger. He isn't going to come back as easily as Radu. But, I mean, there was the remake. But I think he might be stronger. He might have more brute strength. Here's the thing. I think Radu is a lot smarter. And Radu, I think, like what you're saying, would be very wise to kind of take Castle Freak as like a new minion. If you're kind to the Castle Freak, I think you could actually work that. And you know what? I would call that a win for Radu. However, Radu is just too smart. He's been around for many thousands of years. Castle Freak is mortal. I think Radu is going to outsmart him. Ultimately.
I have to tell you, though,
his strength is arguably as strong as Castle Freak's, if not stronger. So I think
where are you getting stronger though? Where are you getting Castle Freak being stronger than the almighty Radu? I mean,
just what I've seen Castle Freak do, like what he does to the prostitute, you know, like he just like bites her boob off.
Wow, that's sharp teeth and a one mortal against another mortal,
and animalistic. Like I can't see Radu doing that, even though Radu's like not exactly a classy guy.
I think Radu is actually a little stronger when he hones his strength because you know he could probably punch through like flesh a little easier because he's got those sharp nails and he's just magical. I think the only thing I would say Castle Freak, I wouldn't say is necessarily stronger. He just has more berserker style, and that is like a strength that you know Radu might not be initially ready for, but it wouldn't take seconds more than, like I said, just to finally be like, okay, I have enough of this and bite into him.
No,
it would probably catch him off guard like right away. Like I bet even the Castle Freak could wrap those chains around him in some sort of bear hug, but then it would just be like, okay, well, you're close to Radu. Radu's gonna bite you now, and now the only way I can really see it is if Radu bites the Castle Freak and somehow turns him into a vampire. He might then be a stronger vampire.
Castle Freak could also have had access to steroids. I don't know. I mean, would that have even helped? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
The Castle Freak somehow got the Bloodstone, but even then, I don't know. I would say Radu's winning this way more times than.
100%.
All right, so I think we got 3 votes for Radu. Guys, I'm going to check in with the chat, and as soon as I'm done reading your comments, we are going to call the vote and move on to the next fight. So this is what we have here. Fairpoint Station says, I love the idea that his penis spontaneously regenerates like a lizard's tail. That's what happens when you a Castle Freak. Anybody in the in the Charles Band universe actually has regenerative genitalia, which is interesting. It's just a weird, bizarre fact. Let's see. My friend Kevin says, if Radu bit Castle Freak, could Castle Freak's penis become a subspecies? You know what? I think so. I think so. It's a dong species.
I think it was cut off.
It's a dong species. Dan, you are a negative Nancy, and we just don't have that here. We don't have that in the gory hole, don't you know? All right. So Dominic says, I love the boob bite from Burial Ground. You know, we should talk boob bites one of these days. You know, that's a great point. We should also talk about great horror boobs, like Necropolis. That's a great set of 6 right there. The Witching Hour says, exactly. Ancient Radu is a senior citizen, but at least he ain't trying to hide it like that Edward guy. And we got B-Movie Coven member Jamie Hart here in the chat. Nice to see you, Jamie. All right, guys, now is the time. This is the time. This is the hour. And Radu's is the magic. Radu's is the power. Radu wins!
But 100 times the Castle Freak.
You always say this.
Might get a couple weird.
They wouldn't be paired if there wasn't a chance the other one could win, dude. Dude, you think this is like a new thing here? No, all right.
Like I said, he needs to befriend him, like the Renfield to Dracula kind of.
Yeah, he has to play the long game or something.
Yeah.
All right, so
He's
Radu
not really smart enough to do. So.
Radu is moving on to the next. Dun, dun, dun. The next round. All right, so there's the bracket, everybody.
Yeah,
There is the
Radu.
bracket. Moving on to round 2. All right. Let's get going with this round 1. Are you ready? Let's hear it for Killjoy. Now, I actually really like Killjoy. If you've only seen the first one, you might be thinking, gory, but that movie's kind of terrible. And it kind of is. The second one also kind of is, but then it kind of gets its momentum with the third one. And by the time you get to Psycho Circus, I think it's really fun. Killjoy is like a demonic clown from a hellverse that's like in space. All very weird. He shares a lot in common with Freddy Krueger. There's times where he's trapped in other dimensions and you can access him through like a mirror. So he brings people in and he can create like his own world there. So like in one of them, he makes a boxing ring and he's like beating the guy to death, but he's actually his physical body is being beaten back where it is. So a lot like Freddy Krueger, you know, you die in the dream, you die in real life. Yeah. He also likes to mess with people to lure them. Like in the first one, like he uses a joint. You know, these other guys have the munchies, so he uses an ice cream truck to like kind of bring them to like his home base. He's got a crew, Batty Boop, who's kind of like Harley Quinn, and this creepy ass mime, and Punchy, all these dudes. He's a showman. He's also really sadistic. He loves killing, whether you're innocent, you're guilty. He just really does not care. Just don't get in his way.
Yeah, he's a vengeance demon that you can summon. At least that is kind of the plot for the first like 3 movies. You can kind of just summon Killjoy, and then by that, the 4th movie he's actually in hell on trial, and then in the 5th movie he's trying to escape through different dimensions to get to an Earth, and then eventually leave that Earth via like spaceship. He's got quite a crazy journey going around there, and yeah, so there you go. He's a killer clown vengeance demon.
I love Witching Hours, Everything Everywhere All at Once reference. Digging it.
Nice.
Kevin says if the first Killjoy wasn't as good as some of the others, it kind of got better as the series one. What I will say about the first Killjoy, especially if you watch the special features, it feels like something that the people who were making it really had a good time making. And I always like to see that.
Yeah. No. Can't say it was the best job. They have like this kid who's a kid and he's like, you know, this nerd.
We're not reviewing this right now. Let me hear your name.
No, but then like it's clearly like a dude. He's like almost 30 and he's got a gym membership. He's really swole and all that stuff. But then like later on, this old guy keeps talking about him in a past tense, saying he's a little boy and he just didn't know. And it's like, did that guy ever meet him on set? Like, what was he?
I will say, if you haven't seen these, most of these you can catch on like Tubi and stuff. A lot of old Full Moons are on there. Yeah. Any thoughts on Killjoy, Dino?
I think he's going to be one of the harder ones to beat, actually.
I agree.
Along with Radu, but I don't want to say what I think the ending would be. But Killjoy is a very interesting character. I mean, he's probably the one out of this group we got here tonight that has a big variety in a lot of different ways he can kill you. So
it's true.
And he's got the power. So
he's got the power.
He's got the power. I think that this is another one where I think there's no doubt. There could be a way Blade could take him out, but Killjoy would have to take some of that stuff he's peddling, you know what I mean, to have Blade come up behind him and kill him. I think it's impossible.
Killjoy is also really clever. I mean, he because one of his victims got away in part 3, he gets put on trial in hell. And he manages to get away with that by manipulating his victim. Like, hey, it's going to work for both of us. I rub your back, you rub mine. You find out that he's turned the stories of the first 2 movies into actual movies in his universe. Like, he profited here.
Yeah, so what you technically are watching are movies of something that might have really happened. But you know how loosely stories based on true stories can be.
Dominic says Ragdoll would kill Killjoy. We need to get like Ooga Booga. We got to get some other ones in here eventually. This is not the last Full Moon Fight Night. And Ben, I got to agree. Batty Boop is my favorite part of Killjoy. Though sometimes it's like, girl, you going to wear anything other than body paint today? Because if it rains, you're screwed.
That's just their skin. And yeah, she's a succubus demon. He's also got Punchy, the homeless clown. Who
Did you know Luann from Gingerdead Man becomes fake Betty Boop eventually?
Yeah, in part 5.
That's crazy.
We covered that in a review of it. We're like,
Well,
that's
then.
not the real like Betty Boop, and then we
crazy.
find her later. But yeah, honestly though, the reason why he's actually even standing trial in part 4 is because the one thing
He
he's
let
bad
Sammy
at.
get away.
No, not just that. It's because you've seen the end of 3, his crew kind of turn against him because they realize that he treats them like shit. And Betty Boop actually finds out that she's the one who snitched him out and got him on trial to begin with.
And to clarify for the Witching Hour, a lot of these people are part of groups, especially when you get into Puppet Master. But no, they are here alone, fighting on their own. Maybe eventually we'll do a full moon tag team. But today it's just Killjoy. He does not get his posse.
Not a gang wolf.
When you put it like that, it doesn't sound very kid friendly.
Is this supposed to be kid friendly?
Obviously.
Well, I almost think the Puppet Masters they need their own fight night, like against each other, because
I
puppets.
agree. We're gonna have to have you back for
There's
that.
at least
Dino.
8 of them.
oh
Oh my gosh, Dino, I'm so jealous. You got the whole Blu-ray classic monster set. I have them all on DVD. I need to upgrade.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had to
Nice.
have that.
Very nice. Very evil.
Yeah.
Good.
I need to
Very
upgrade.
evil.
I just want the straight up projection footage from the
We gotta-
40s.
We gotta do a lot
Yes,
more
yes.
full moon. We might even have to do like a
16
Troma night.
millimeter.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think we have covered this Killjoy ground. Let's introduce our next fighter. It's actually our only female fighter tonight. And it's not because I don't like the ladies. I love the ladies. Full moon is just kind of a sausage fest. But we do, well, we got 2 ladies because baby Oopsie. So there you go, 2.
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes.
sometimes. Let's welcome Evie, the evil Bong. She's had some adventures.
Oh, she's taken on other evil bongs. There's King Bong. There's the Space Bong. She's even taken on the Gingerdead Man before.
And there's also like the Satan lady,
And in the first movie,
Lucifer.
granted, in the first movie, it was more like Easter eggs than it was like storyline or plot. But when you go into her, there's like a nightclub, and you find out that the guy from Trancers is in there, the Ooga Booga,
Ooga
Gingerdead
Booga.
Man. They're all just kind of in there. So
And she has a baby with Gingerdead Man.
yeah, Ouija's.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Thank you, Cal-El. You are also badass. And Dominic is down for a Troma episode. I think that would be fun. That'd be really
Oh,
fun.
that would be awesome. Mm.
Yeah.
Dino, we got to have you back because
Anytime.
you're good. You know what's up.
These are fun.
All right. So, Evie, Danny, hit it. You're wearing the shirt.
Yeah, you got the shirt on.
Oh, okay. Well, the first one stars Chong. It's kind of the allure to get into the franchise.
I love the story though. The whole setup is Chong's wife has sold all his shit, including his Hot Wheels.
Yeah, including his Hot Wheels. He plays with Hot Wheels at the very end.
Chong is pretty funny in it.
He's actually, I think, the only person who actually dies in the first movie, but it's heroically. As he goes inside Evie and explodes her from the inside out with a bunch of dynamite. Then he gets to go to heaven with all
But
the...
then he gets to be king of the Bong world. So
Yeah.
to clarify, so what Evie does, Evie's almost like a parasite in a weird way.
Yeah.
So if you partake of the Bong, you go into Bong world within Evie, and that fuels her. And eventually she wants the rivers to run with Bong water and the skies to be clouds of pot smoke. This is her ideal world. So she's all about that life, but to get strong enough to do that, she needs to feed off of people. So she sucks you into the Bong world, and she'll usually she titillates you with naked ladies,
Whatever you kind of desire.
whatever it is you desire. She tends to pick on the same group of stoner dudes, and mostly they like naked ladies. There's not a lot of variation there, but it's whatever you desire. So if you like more complex things, they could be in there.
Yeah, I think Rabbit eventually builds a whole wall of fake boobs. But he just
And
has-
they make noise.
Yeah, and then when the Gingerdead Man in there, he gets taunted by weird pastries that put him on
everyone-
trial.
Say goodnight to Jordy. Hi, Jordy. Jordy's
Night,
watching
Jordy.
UK. That's
Yeah, it's
dedication
late
right
over
there. This is actually like a really late show because
Yeah.
Dino's here.
Late somewhere.
Yeah, it is.
All
yeah.
right.
Evil Bong. Oh.
She's got her magic, and it's pretty hard to get out of her. Usually, if you can kind of resist any temptation, you can get out, or sometimes even if you just don't even care, you can leave, apparently, depending on the movie.
And if you think she's bad, I mean, King Bong and Space, but Space Bong's like milking dudes for their
DNA, because he was going to make his own like alien hybrid
he's
children.
basically milking them to make his own hybrid. It's gross. It's kind of rapey. So Evie, like sometimes Evie's kind of working with the good guys, kind of like Catwomanish. But a lot of times, Evie can't be easily subdued. There have been movies where they've had her tied up and put into a closet. She is pretty good about talking her way into whatever the new movie is.
Yeah.
She's pretty good about getting her way. At one point, she runs a restaurant that she puts like weed in all the food, and she's pretty good at it. So
yeah,
you know, she's got hobbies.
She's
a mom.
The longer you're in her, the more your soul will become a part of her bong water. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. Physically, she's not like, I mean, she probably could bite you if you put your finger in her mouth, but like she's not physically imposing when you're in the outside world. She finds people who are very weak-willed. So,
and Killjoy is not weak-willed, so I mean,
no. So I paired these two together because they both kind of prey on our desires. You know, Killjoy knows what you want, whether it be the munchies or you want, you know, to bring somebody back from the dead. Killjoy's going to play with that. But Killjoy has the ability to create like Freddy's nightmares, like a nightmare scenario where it's almost like a Jinn situation where it's going to go bad. And Evie's kind of the same thing too. There's like one situation where a guy's getting a lap dance from this gorgeous girl, and she's got like a bra on that's like skulls, but then they end up like, I think they attack him.
Yeah, and there's like shark boobs too.
Yeah, so they're similar in that respect. So, for this scenario, to make it fair, I'm going to go with Killjoy of Part 3, where he's trapped in a hell dimension and can only be accessed by a mirror. So, to win this fight, I would say whoever can get maybe more people into their world.
I mean, that's why you want to go by rules on it.
Or how do they fight? Suggestions.
I'm just thinking in this scenario, since the kid from part 1 summoned him to get rid of bullies, and that's how he began. Later on in part 3, his father, the professor, summons him, but only to banish him and for revenge on him specifically. Killjoy thought he was being summoned for revenge on something other than that. He was actually summoning him to get revenge on him for killing his son, banishing him into that mirror.
You lost everybody.
Killjoy really wants that dude's soul. Let's say that his students end up partaking in the evil Bong, and somehow he ends up getting high too. And the only way to get his soul is for Killjoy to go into the evil Bong. Can he get out?
Yeah.
Okay. What if we do this? Who is more likely to be taken in by the other one? Is Evie more likely to give into the mirror and fall for Killjoy's ploy, or is Killjoy more likely to partake in that Bong?
I think, honestly, in that scenario, Evie would win because she doesn't give a shit about being a clown soul.
Wait, what did you say?
Bill Screamy Videos is here. What's up? All right. Well, we'll just go with smarts, manipulation abilities, and actual ability to harm. Who's the strongest?
Listen,
I would say,
yeah.
Magic-wise, Killjoy is stronger, powerful magic. Ability to harm, once again, Killjoy. Maybe in a insult contest, Evie might win. I mean, Killjoy is pretty good at insulting too, but Evie, I think, has a little more sass, a little longer. She'll go longer in that fight.
She's kind of like Wanda Sykes.
Verbally, she'd win a verbal argument, possibly. But Killjoy would then probably just pick her up and break her.
That's true. So ways you can destroy them. Killjoy's been doused with holy water. I mean, there's some pretty easy defeats here.
Yeah.
Evie's been broken.
But they come back. Easy. They both come back.
But this is just to a knockout.
Also with Killjoy, though, once again, that movie was made retconned, to the point where it's was he really ever killed by holy water? I don't know. Because that's part 2.
This is a tough one. I think
it's a tough one. Huh?
The being inside the Bong world is more desirable, obviously, than being in Killjoy's Knightmare. And with Killjoy, there's laughter. There's a lot of ways to get out. It's not fun once you're in there. Once you realize you're in there, you're not having a good time.
Yeah.
So if you can figure out how to get out, you're good. Whereas Evie, I think the trick of it all is that you actually are having a good time. So by the time you realize you need to get out, you're already really weak.
Yeah. Though, to be fair, though, even if you get out of Killjoy's mirror, that doesn't mean he'll let you leave the premise. Like, you could still be locked in a house in the real world, so you could still be screwed.
Here's what I'll say is Killjoy is like a demon. And I think Killjoy has kind of almost like far more energy than your average human. And a lot of those humans eventually are able to figure out what's what and get out. I think Killjoy absolutely would. And then it would just take locking up the bong or breaking the bong to win. So I do think her universe is more inviting, but ultimately Killjoy just has a lot more abilities.
I think he would be able to escape her. It would probably be a little weird for him, and he'd probably enjoy it for a while, tormenting or doing whatever his horrible desires were. But he's escaped way more powerful things.
He's escaped hell.
He escaped his mirror prison. He escaped straight up hell while he was on trial, and they were going to erase every version of his name. Once that became true, he would have no longer exist. He would just be gone from existence once all of his names were erased. But they already erased a few of them, so he was already not even at his strongest, and he still managed to escape hell. He even managed to escape that dimension's Earth by spaceship. He escapes a lot of things. That's kind of what he does. That's like kind of his thing. And Evie's thing is to try and lock you up, and lesser people have escaped her.
What do you think, Dino?
Yeah, I mean, I think Killjoy.
You're voting too, right?
Oh yeah.
All right.
I think Killjoy is the without a doubt going to win. I think he's the more powerful by far. I think Evie is kind of the kid in this kind of scenario, because it's like, I've got 100% power, Killjoy. I've got 20% power. That's just me. That's what I think. Yeah. I think no matter what, even if he got put into the Bong world, he can easily, he's been in and out of hell. He's been in and out of all these different dimensions and stuff like that. He can easily get out. So yeah, without a doubt, it's Killjoy.
All right. So again, we're all agreeing. This is kind of a weird thing for fight night, but we're all agreeing. We vote Killjoy. So I'm going to check in with the chat. And by the time I'm done reading your comments, I'm going to call the vote. So hurry up and get those votes in.
I'm all for a crossover, though. Honestly, it's just going to make the evil Bong, it'll be one of the better ones in that franchise, that's for sure. It'll make her movies more interesting and better.
All right. Witching Hour says, don't you love it when there's two female full moon slashers and one's an anthropomorphic Bong and the other's a baby doll? I do. The Witching Hour says, nothing holier than Bong water. Now it's dark. Gave us these really fun emojis. Thanks. I like them. Phil's Creepy Vince is here. Nice to see ya. All right. So, anything else from you? Cal's never seen Killjoy. You can watch them all on Tubi. So I'm going to call the vote now, and it looks like Killjoy has won and is moving on to round 2.
And Evie still got 25%.
That's pretty good.
Hey.
So Radu and Killjoy are going to duke it out in round 2. Let's move on to our next fighter. And Dino, I'm counting on you for this one. But first, let's get to that introduction video. You know him. You love him. He's the head of the family. It's Myron. If you guys haven't seen Head of the Family, it's one of the really fun full moon movies. It's a classic. You guys see it.
It's one of the best.
On one of these Shrunken Heads. I love that one.
It also kind of borrows from a Bride of Frankenstein, where it's just like, hey, we have the self-destruct button. It just blows up, burns down the house. Just pull this lever, and the whole thing will come down.
Right, right. There's nothing better than the sight of Myron sitting in that wheelchair. His huge brain. Charles Band sticking with the practical effects, and it's just wonderful to watch. And like she said, if you haven't seen Head of the Family, you got to see it. But anyways, Myron's just, I mean, he's got the ability to take over groups of people and their minds. And I think when it comes to Baby Oopsie, I mean, I think this is another blowout. But Myron he's too powerful mentally. Can Baby Oopsie push him off that wheelchair is the question. Get him out of
They
that.
both look like babies.
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, really, they both have simple kind of powers in this battle. And Myron's might be just a little bit more powerful because it's all about the mental power, the taking over of someone's mind and being able to even possibly even throw a weapon towards Baby Oopsie from across the room or something like that. So yeah, that's Myron.
Yeah, Myron's got a guy he uses to see outside of the house. He's got a guy who's basically his strength.
Yeah.
He has a woman who seduces people for him. So Myron basically delegates.
Yes.
Yeah, when you're having sex with his sister, you're technically having sex with him. So
Gross.
there you go.
Oh boy.
But he's got another brother who's like got really big ears and really like good eyes. Apparently, he's always like like looking out and hearing out for him. And then he's got one that's harder for him to control, but the big muscle dude, just basically Lenny from Mice and Men.
And Dino already mentioned who the opponent is, but let's welcome in the other corner, Baby Oopsie Daisy. I said it once, I'll say it again. The new Baby Oopsie Daisy movie is actually really good, and you should check it out.
Way much more character development than you'd think.
Really, considering how like a lot of the evil Bong ones are, I feel like, it's a lot of women are only there to be tits and stuff. You've got a woman who is in her 40s. She's like overweight. She's your main character. She's awesome. And her buddy Ray Ray, another guy who's, kind of older, balding, but he's super funny. I like that they're giving like different people a chance to be heroes in this universe. And they're really funny people.
In this universe, Baby Oopsie universe, they usually have the female being a little bit more of like a final girl or fighting back a lot more. So
even in Demonic Toys,
the first Demonic Toys, like that lady was like in her late 30s, I guess, but she was like a detective and she was pretty badass.
Yeah.
So bad they killed her off pretty quickly in the Doll Man versus Demonic Toys.
Nice to see Cheyenne Peterson here. What's up?
Yeah.
Witching Arrow says Myron is middle management, nothing without his underlings. Baby Oopsie has speed, wit, and acid throw up. This is true. Also, let's not forget that chainsaw.
Yeah. Stabbed a security guy in the
so I'm gonna so tell us about her Demonic Toys days, and then I'm gonna cover the new movies.
Well, I figured we'd just go with the first Demonic Toys because then she gets a gender swap and a different.
I don't want to talk about rapey Baby Oopsie.
We'll just go with the first one. She is just your cute little doll that throws you off guard and then will stab you to death in the dick. This is how great she is in that. I like the first one. I thought it was cool, but they didn't they didn't develop them that much. It was her and the jack-o'-lantern and the teddy bear who got really big. It was a pretty cool movie. I liked it, but there wasn't much for her. Then there's the weird male version who's always trying to be rapey in the Doll Man crossover, and then later the versus Puppet Master crossover with Corey Feldman. But then we finally got a Baby Oopsie movie all by herself, and I wasn't 100%
I got this. So in the new ones, you have this woman who's basically like a doll hoarder. I mean, that's the only joy she really has. She's a YouTube channel where she collects these vintage dolls, and she's really good at restoring them to make them look as good as new. And that's where she gets her joy from. And she finds Baby Oopsie, which is now a collector's item, and restores it and loves it. And then you put this little thingy inside it, and then Baby Oopsie comes to life. And first, it's kind of like, oh, she has like this sentient thing that loves her back. But Baby Oopsie is really, really hard to please. Baby Oopsie wants to be killing all the time. And at first, Baby Oopsie's like, let's just kill the bad people, Mama. And then it's just like, let's just kill everybody who comes to the door, Mama. And that's when Sybil, her mama, is like, yeah, this isn't going to work out.
Baby Oopsie's like, well, I'll just kill you, Mama.
Yeah, and Baby Oopsie wants to bring about Toy Armageddon, eventually gets a couple buddies. But in this fight, it's just Baby Oopsie. Baby Oopsie is adept with a baby chainsaw. Baby Oopsie has got acid puke. Baby Oopsie, like Myron, is also, a leader of sorts. Knows a lot of demonic magic.
She can strangle you with a USB cord and kill you that
Can
way.
indeed. Also very good at killing people without them knowing that the baby Oopsie is in the room.
Yeah,
So
sneaky.
sneak attack, like Splinter Cell stuff, dudes.
Yep. Pretty good stuff. In the first movie, let's kind of give you like a history of what brings this demonic magic to begin with. There was a demon who was born on Halloween. He was but then aborted and killed, and his dead little baby demon corpse was planted underneath the ground. However, there was a toy shop that was eventually, they paved it over and put a toy shop there. It is like on the eve and someone wants to bring it back. So with like satanic pentagram and whatnot, the blood that spills brings the toys in the toy shop alive, and they want to hail Satan basically and bring this demon back to give it its full, to give it a body that it never got. However, they're thwarted. They try to do that again in the few crossovers they do. There even is a Demonic Toys 2. Not very good, sadly. But then Baby Oopsie gets pieces of Baby Oopsie is mailed to Sybil, and she is good at restoring dolls, and she doesn't know where these pieces are coming from. And eventually, she finds out it is her friend Ray Ray, who lives nearby, and he just wants to hail Satan.
Spoiled the movie, bro.
He just wants to hail Satan.
Ray Ray's great. I love the people in this movie are really funny. Do check it out.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, I'm gonna put the vote in the chat. Let's start with Dino. Dino, who do you think is gonna win this fight?
Oh God, you got me thinking. I mean, I love them both, but when it comes down to, they're a little bit more evenly matched now than I thought. After hearing Danny just go on and you with the acid throw up and everything, but
yeah, that is a game changer.
You know, I still think Myron. Listen, I got a soft spot for him, and I think he's got the ability to.
He's got one for you too. He messaged
with his henchmen to keep Baby Oopsie from even getting close to him. Man, I mean, I do believe Myron. I think Myron would win. I really do.
This is one case where they do get to use their people because that's essentially an extension of Myron's eyes and arms and such. So
you
it's
take
not really
them
a
away.
team.
Yeah,
it's just Myron.
Yeah, and in that case, Baby Oopsie would probably come in and get at him. But
I feel like Myron is one of those kind of like Bond villain types. Myron is talkity talk. And his underlings are not intelligent at all. They're basically brain wiped. So as long as you can get past the eyes, you can get past the seduction, you can get past whatever it is, the one thing they do, which is pretty easy because they have no mind of their own, you should be okay. Baby Oopsie is clever. And Baby Oopsie does have, demonic magic and stuff. And it's very stealthy. Myron himself, if Baby Oopsie can get to Myron, Myron has really no way of defending himself. He's a giant head in a wheelchair. Baby Oopsie is small, but agile. Baby Oopsie's got the chainsaw. She's got the acid puke. I think even if she did get detected by the big guy, I think his name's Tiny or something, I think Baby Oopsie could hold her own. She is very clever. She's gone against a lot of people at once and managed to hold her own. So I'm going to say Baby Oopsie's got this.
Oh, no.
I like that we're finally disagreeing. This is good.
Well, I love Baby Oopsie, but I just think there's no way. I think Myron can get in the mind of even Baby Oopsie.
Wow.
I mean,
but that's like a demon. But there's already somebody in Baby Oopsie. It's like a demon.
Well, what kind of demonic? If there's a demon in there, I think Myron can still. It's a mind of that demon, so he can still have some power over that demon.
I think a good argument.
I think if anybody can really manipulate Baby Oopsie, it is definitely Myron. I just don't know exactly how long that would eventually give up. Because unless he's really dedicated to himself being a servant to Satan, I think eventually Baby Oopsie will catch on that he is not Satan, loving guy.
The problem is that Myron actually wants things. Myron wants money. Myron wants a wife. Myron wants a lot of stuff. Whereas Baby Oopsie just wants to kill people. That's it's very, very simple. And so manipulating Baby Oopsie is a lot harder because Baby Oopsie is going to get bored and be like, why has it been 15 minutes and we haven't killed somebody?
But Myron is very smart. I mean, he could tell what people were doing miles away, even. So, he, there's a detection of these, like Baby Oopsie, like, oh, something's not quite right.
However, Baby Oopsie won her franchise in like all of her movies. Whereas Myron was defeated by, I don't know what to call this girl, but a very clever girl, and Tiny, who has absolutely no brain.
Seducing him. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, I don't think Baby Oopsie would have been as easily defeated.
We needed more head of the family movies, is what we needed.
I'm looking forward to the sequel that we've been waiting for a long time. They announced that. It's also his son is the main villain in Blood Dolls, the tiny head.
Nice.
And Mummy Be Movies here, Danny.
Yay.
Hi, Mummy. I tried calling you today. I miss you. I love you. All right. Give me your comments.
Yeah, people are on the fence here. People are giving it to Baby Oopsie.
It's close. Right now it's 47-53.
His name is actually Caden's favorite wrestler, Otis.
Otis is Master of the Worm.
The strong.
So who did you vote for?
I'm barely giving it to Baby Oopsie. I think Myron is way more intelligent, and if you're throwing in their crew, he has a lot of advantages with that. But Baby Oopsie is pretty manipulative. Like, eventually that runs out unless you are straight up serving Satan. So if Myron does do that, then I think that's a win for Baby Oopsie. Like, even if he is like keeping her at bay and giving her orders, if they're still serving Satan for the toy Armageddon, Baby Oopsie wins as well. So I have to say that's technically a win for her, even if he chooses that. If he doesn't really commit to Satan, I think eventually demons kind of know. Just no matter what, the demon will just eventually know, and she is more physically opposing, especially with acid puke. Like, just how
Baby Oopsie is also very impatient, so he doesn't have a lot of time.
Even if we had to like say, okay, his brothers and sisters are part of this, and they're gonna keep Baby Oopsie away, their physical, they age, they mess up, they're humans, and regardless of the fact if their brother is controlling them, they will eventually get weak or mess up between them or age. Where Baby Oopsie is eternal because it's demonic magic.
Yeah, I would say if this is a long fight, like if we're talking a year, I mean, given Baby Oopsie time, I think Baby Oopsie would.
I don't think it's years. I see Baby Oopsie like slipping in through the vents and dropping down on Myron and like acid puking on him, whipping out the chainsaw. That's what I think.
I think he would have picked up Baby Oopsie right away. He knows who's coming in the house.
I think there's plenty of ways where Myron could win, especially Otis getting his hands on Baby Oopsie. He could rip that doll apart. It's just how it is. It's just, well, she's stealthy enough, I think, that more times than not, she might not get caught. But
all right.
It's hard to say. I'm pretty on the fence, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's 50-50 tie, guys. So I'm going to play you the videos one more time so you can see them in action in case you're a late comer and you don't know who to pick. You've heard our arguments. Here they are again. Do you pick Head of the Family or do you pick Baby Oopsie? One more time with that beautiful full moon footage. All right, here we go with Head of the Family. All right, you see his squad. You see his whole crew there.
Oh,
and then we got Baby Oopsie. That little baby chainsaw just gets
Myron would
and it's tight, guys. It's still tight.
Like Baby Oopsie had Myron took it right back.
Myron would put in the minds of everybody around him, grab the dough and put it in the fire.
But yet Myron can't get in the mind of the girl who's the main character of Head of the Family.
Thinking it was little Myron when it comes to her, though.
Well, again, I think that was just because he wanted a female in his life, a love. He wanted love, and he opened that door. But when it comes to people coming in to try to kill him, like Baby Oopsie would do.
So,
and honestly,
what if, because like in the new movie, I don't know much about it, but he's got a wife. We know he's got the wife part covered. What if he wants a baby? And he basically, I think baby Oopsie could manipulate him and be like, I want to be your baby. You've got a wife. Now I'm your baby.
Well, we haven't seen the
Technically,
new
he
movie
has
yet.
a son. Technically, he has a kid.
And I'm calling it
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
finally unbroken. It
Blood down.
just barely went to baby Oopsie.
Oh.
Barely.
When you saw that one vote go up there, you just hurried up and stopped it, huh?
Because I needed the time.
No, I'm
to
joking. I'm
move
joking.
on. But
We
that
need to
was
end it.
close. I would have given it to whoever got the next vote.
All fairness of Myron, though, he actually did eventually. He didn't care if he was in her mind or not. He was going to kill the girl from the movie. It's Otis's mind that was actually unbroken, and Otis stood up and like pulled the switch.
All right, Danny, we're past
Yeah.
it. We're past it. It's the main event. It's
He
the
loves
final countdown. Come on, Dino.
Either was a good win, anyways. but-
Seriously, why are we not a band? Like, we are totally wasting our talent here. Okay, so for our
Band of
main
chumps.
event tonight, he's tasty, he's vicious, he's the Gingerdead Man, and he is going to be fighting your favorite puppet, Blade.
Blood-filled.
Exactly. Let's roll that beautiful footage. Here we go with Gingerdead Man. And Blade from Puppet Master. All right. Where should we start? Gingerdead Man?
He's Gary Busey on a bender. Goes
For
into,
one movie.
goes into a diner, and only in the beginning of that movie. I mean, he does his voice for the rest of it, but physically, you only see him. He goes into a diner and decides to shoot everybody. There's a waitress who begs for her life.
Not a waitress, it's a
well,
young girl with her
You're just-
family.
Yeah, right. She's just there with her family, eating, and he's, I won't kill you. Nah, he shoots her anyway.
He has to because he's a mama's boy. His mom says always finish what you start. But he doesn't shoot her. He shoots at her.
Yeah.
She survives. And then his mom brings him back as a cookie. The family was going to run a restaurant, but they ended up opening up a bakery. So this is her way of infiltrating, say, bakery with, her resurrected son. So she sends the cookie in, and he starts killing people. Also, if you eat him, then you become possessed by him, and you become like a zombie.
Happened in the end of part 2 to Adam Green.
Mm-hmm.
Found his roasted cookie remains.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that works for people like Blade. He
Yeah.
doesn't have a digestive system, and would he actually be possessed by him just by eating him? I don't know.
I don't think Blade's gonna get possessed.
I don't think Blade's gonna eat him anyway.
No, he's already a spirit stuck in a Dow. That's kind of a sort of possession, but
So, Dino, I mean, your Puppet Master. Tell us about Blade, his backstory, his strengths, his weaknesses. Who is Blade?
oh geez, I mean, yeah, I mean he's got he's got a blade, is what he's got. He's part of this group of well, we're talking about Blade here. So listen, Blade is very smart. I don't think you're going to get anything past him. He's really sneaky. He's got the knife hand. He's got the hook hand.
The eyes.
The eyes, yes. He's got the what is that again? Coming out the spikes that come out of the eyes. Boy,
Daggers.
yeah, and even a syringe hand later on in one of the movies. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I again, I'm not going to recap the movies, but his powers themselves, I think everybody knows most of the characters in the Puppet Master movies. They're basically inhabited from a spirit, and you really can't kill them. Even if you burn the Dow, there's a way to bring them back. But nevertheless, I don't know. You go, Danny. Gory, go ahead.
So the Puppet Masters, Talon was fighting the Nazis in a sense, but he had a special Egyptian recipe, basically to make reanimator serum almost. It's still green and glowy. And he put the souls of these dead Nazis into these puppets, but it was the good part of their souls. It was because regardless if you're an evil Nazi, you have a good humanity soul somewhere in you. And they would live on through these dolls, and they would.
Little's right, totally different thing.
Well, that was just honestly electronical droids and shit. It was not. It was droids. They were horrible. We're not counting that movie. Blade's not.
Hey, Denisha.
But yeah, so he would spend most of the movies, like later on, they would do a lot of these prequel movies, part 3, also Retro Puppet Master, like where they're just, and then like 10, 11, and 12, they're all just fighting Nazis as puppets. Later on, you get into the future. There's this guy who's like kind of a hypnotist and a psychic, a bunch of psychics actually, and he brings back the dolls because he finds them, but then they realize he's a douchebag, so they kill him at the end of the movie.
I will say Puppet Master is one of those rare franchises where the first movie is not the best.
No, but it's still good.
It's good.
It's just
but it gets better. It gets better.
2, I even think is better because then they bring Talon, but he's kind of
3.
He's like resurrected and he's kind of gone crazy through death. So he's almost like the Invisible Man with his wrapped up tape. And they realize, hey, he's not the guy that we used to like. He's not the good soul anymore. He's kind of tainted because sometimes dead is better.
That's something I want to say about Blade and the rest of the puppets. There are movies, I think one of the biggest ones is part 1, where they are largely manipulated into fighting and killing innocent people. But as you get through this series, they're pretty quick to figure out, hey, this person isn't good. One of the ones that comes to mind is Curse of the Puppet Master, where they figure out pretty early on that the guy who's manipulating them is bad news, and the nice kid that he's trying to turn them against is the person that they want to protect. Yeah. So they're not easily manipulated.
No, I mean, at least by the end of the movie, they figure it out and they turn on you. So don't be a bad puppet master, or your puppets will take over.
Mostly heroes.
Yeah. Mostly.
Yeah, I think you kind of put two together that for Blade's sake, Gingerdead Man is a good pick for him because, again, all the puppets. I mean, you watch the movies and you could pretty much just stomp on them. I mean, come on, when you think about it. So you need just a Pupper Master stream one of these nights. But yeah, I think. I still think
and Torch and
I mean, tell it to all the people they've killed that you could just step on them because they've killed a lot of people. But Blade is like a stealthy ninja.
Yes.
Once was the soul of a Nazi, but Gingerman once the soul of a crazy Gary Busey. So there you go. They didn't have the best lives as humans, but I think Blade has actually kind of turned a new leaf. He actually is a better soul now, and
their original maker loved them, which is one of the things that makes them so good. Forget the whole Nazi thing, because their origin does change. It's not always the soul of Nazis.
Yeah,
but the one thing that is pretty consistent is their maker did love them like children. He talks to them. He cares for them. So they know good people versus bad people.
I love those puppets, man. I need some puppets in my life.
And
you have puppets in your life. What about Danny Devil?
Yeah, where's that guy at? I haven't seen him in a while.
You guys on the outs again?
He's over there. You're saying, what the fuck's going on, you son of a bitch?
Danny Devil. He gives some sex appeal to your show. I'm just saying.
I love somebody else who makes my skin crawl because most Muppets do. I don't know. Muppets are...
All right, so let's get into it. Dino, I want to start with you. Who do you think is going to win this one?
Oh, I think Blade will cut up the Gingerdead Man in the little pieces and then serve them to the other puppets. Yeah,
And let me know in the chat too. Who are you voting for and why? I will highlight your comments when we're done arguing. Who we think would win.
Because go ahead. I was going to say I'm sorry, Danny. I was going to say even if he had a weapon, Gingerdead Man, a gun or something like that, the puppet, what's that?
Usually a knife.
Usually, that's his weapon of choice. But he's used a lot of things. He gets more creative with his deaths, I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, the puppets usually are so fast, they would get out of the way of this Gingerdead guy. Anyways, I'm sorry, Danny. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. But yeah, Gingerdead Man, he gets a little more creative with his kills than Blade usually does. Blade has his, weapons. He usually has a hook and a blade hand. But Gingerdead Man will use some crazy-ass ways to kill people sometimes, but usually it's just a sharp object or an axe or a cleaver or a knife. But he's got big, slow targets, and I'm not saying either doesn't. Puppet Master's usually killing humans too. However, Blade is like a straight-up ninja. And honestly, he's learned and developed as a character where Gingerdead Man has not learned a damn thing. He's still an idiot. He's still like just sloppily kills everybody as he can.
It's hard to take him serious.
Yes.
I will say Gingerdead Man is defeated by the evil Bong just
Yeah.
because he is very much an id personality. If you fulfill him sexually or you fulfill him in any way, he's easily pleased. And so being in the Bong where he just gets to smoke weed, he's pacified. It's really not difficult. He does hold a grudge if you have defeated him. He keeps coming back to the same girl from the bakery. He just can't let that go. But he is pretty easily defeated. He has been outmatched by the evil Bong and other people who are more intelligent. Blade, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say he's not a ninja. He's more like a spy, like CIA level. He makes me think of like what's his name? Bauer from 24 and what's his butt? Jack Reacher.
Bourne. He's
Bourne. Jason Bourne. This is Blade. Blade is very adept in like covert operations. He knows how to utilize a team. He is charismatic, even though he doesn't ever say anything.
Like Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, but he definitely can get the drop on his opponent, and he has a big arsenal. He's got the eyes, like we mentioned. He's got the hook. He's got little, and he's fast. He's so fast. So I do think Gingerdead Man's not an easy opponent to beat, but when it comes to Blade, he is outmatched. So my vote is Blade.
It also helps that they're both in universes where people have no peripheral vision,
Peripheral?
Peripheral vision, yes.
Peripheral?
Where they can't really see anything that's 2 feet high or low, or
or anything running by them.
You don't see them.
Yeah.
There are certain words I get tripped onto.
Yeah, that's just a word I can't say. Unless
I got you, baby. I got you.
Unless I'm really prepared. But yeah, exactly. Like you can run right past their knee, like a human's knees, and the human won't see either one of those characters. But
I think Gingerdead Man's biggest folly is that he's overconfident and he's not that smart.
Exactly. He does not actually get more intelligent throughout it. He does not learn. He doesn't enhance.
He starts smoking a lot of weed. So if anything, he gets less smart and less aware.
Exactly. Where I would say, yes, he's more used to fighting by his own, where Blade has usually a team with him. But I don't think that matters in this fight. Blade has more enough ability to take out the Gingerdead Man.
Unless it's the latest Blade movie, which he was alone, but oh my god.
Yeah, well, there you go. He does have some experience with it. Of course. And also, Blade's body is a puppet and is pretty breakable, but it's still a lot more sturdy than a cookie.
Yeah. I must break you. You cookie.
Cookies are pretty easy
to
crumble.
Dina, you voted for Blade, right?
I voted for Blade.
So we have 3 for Blade. Now I'm going to check on the chat, and then I'm going to call the vote. So let's see what we got going on in the chat. We've got Ariel, my girl, longtime friend of the channel. She's voting for Blade. She said Blade can kick this cookie's ass.
Hell yeah.
Maverick Media says his son is super excited to see the new Mario movie. And I see B movie Kevin member Jamie Hart here. Denisha says, I don't know why I heard that. But yeah, watch SmackDown. Jamie says Blade is gonna slice and dice that cookie. Those cookies do look really delicious, though. The ones they sell in the bakery.
Well, I've defeated 2 Cookie Dans that are very similar, and they were delicious.
Do watch Danny's reviews of the Gingerdead Man movies. He's got Cookie Dan. It's really funny. My husband's a funny guy.
Great guy.
Kevin, sometimes he does have the soul of Nazi, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes it's just the best part of the person.
Even when it is.
Really depends. The only one where they're straight up bad guys is Littlest Reich, which that one I'm not really
they're AIs.
The kills are fun, but I'm not a huge fan of that one. But that's just me.
They would be
also, Connie Clary, I did notice that you have joined the B Movie Coven. It's our exclusive witchy group here where we get to watch movies together. We got streams. I'm going to be doing some more live streams of just me gaming here soon for my B Movie Coven members. But since you joined, not during a stream, I didn't get to officially thank you. So I got this for you. Thank you. All righty. So I'm ready to call it, and it's a wipeout. I know. Wipeout. Blade is going on to round 2. He is a fan favorite, but it is for good reason. He got the skills to pay them puppet bills.
Play that Puppet Master game as well.
Actually, guys, a little sneak peek here. The Puppet Master video game, which looks really, really fun. We played a little bit of it at Crypticon. Is free to play. It's on Steam. And tomorrow on Horror Addicts, instead of giving you our weekly movie review, we're going to be playing it live. So I hope you'll join us tomorrow on Horror Addicts. Yeah. So link is in the description below.
What are you playing?
Thank you, Jamie. Girl after my own heart.
Puppet Master game.
You know I love them old cartoons. Here, Jamie, just for you.
That one creeps me out.
I love
they drink
it.
all of her milk and
it's from Minnie the Moocher.
I know,
I've seen it.
Betty Boop.
That's
all right, we are in round 2. So round 2 moves a lot faster here because we've already introduced the characters. I might play the videos again though, because they're fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so now we've got 2 fights. In round 2, we've got Radu versus Killjoy. We've got Baby Oopsie versus Blade. Guys, this is gonna be super fun. Let's kick it off with Radu versus Killjoy. Should I play those clips again?
Sure, why not?
All right, we got Radu.
Killjoy
versus Killjoy. So let's just cut to the chase.
This is
a hard one.
This is like kind of the one.
It's the hardest one of the night, but I still think there's no way. I think Radu wins it. It may be
close. Tell me how.
What's that?
Tell me how.
How Radu wins?
How does he win? What gives him the edge?
What gives him the edge? He's just more powerful. I think Killjoy is just a little bit more comical and just, doesn't take things as serious as Radu. I mean, Radu's as diehard as it comes. If he sees an opponent,
Die Hard?
What's that?
Like Bruce Willis Die Hard?
Oh no, more than Die Hard, but yeah. If he sees a villain or somebody coming at him, Radu, he's not. Nobody's standing in his way. I mean, there's multiple ways he can kill him. I mean, I think he could take Killjoy and just tear him apart. I mean, Radu's a powerful guy, but again, close because Killjoy's got a lot of things going for him too. But that's where you guys come in because I'm not budging on Radu.
I think
I really, really think you make an awesome argument there. I actually just made up my mind.
I'm drawing Michelle from Blood, Subspecies, has summoned the Killjoy demon, revenge demon, to take out her arch nemesis Radu, who has always been like hunting her down. That is the scenario here. Is it going to work? I'm not sure because I could see Radu is definitely a little more down to earth, intelligent, like in a sense. I think he's more clever. He will not fall for silly shenanigans in a sense.
Right.
But I will give Killjoy demonic magic, which is also in a sense Toon Force. He's like destroyed somebody's head like by smashing 2 pies into him. It made their head flat and smash because it's magical and it's just Toon Force. Like if it's funny, it actually kills you that way. I don't know exactly how that would work on a vampire, but I can't say that it wouldn't. It's very like gray area on that.
And there is some witchcraft and sorcery in Radu's kind of bag of tricks too, though. So
yeah, exactly. And I'm not 100% sure how to measure magic between the two of them, like because it's kind of hypothetical at this point. I think Radu is, in a sense, a more serious force. I don't know 100% if that works. I think he is also like more adaptable and intelligent, but then again, Killjoy has got himself out of some crazy ass pickles before, so I'm not 100% sure on this.
So here's what I'm going to say. You guys know me, and what do I always refer to time and time again when I can't make a decision? I refer to Buffy, because Buffy is kind of my Bible.
Say Roger Rabbit. But...
I live by Roger Rabbit rules, only if it's funny. But this case, I'm going to go with Buffy. So Buffy is the greatest slayer ever, not because of her immense training, which she didn't have, because she thinks outside the box. Because she takes these old vampires and throws them for a loop because she's kind of a wild card. And so that's why I'm giving this to Killjoy. Killjoy is that wild card. Radu has been around a really, really long time. Radu is used to eventually coming out on top. But I think Killjoy, who's also very old, is a little unpredictable. I don't think Radu is going to be prepared for somebody coming at him with a giant sledgehammer or putting him in a boxing ring. A lot of this new world stuff is really going to confuse Radu, and it's going to give Killjoy that moment to take advantage. Killjoy, I do think, is as strong as Radu. He's killed people in a lot of very inventive, creative ways. Killjoy could make himself a vampire. You know, he has the ability to kind of manipulate reality.
He can make it seem like he's a vampire, but he wouldn't be a vampire.
He wouldn't be, but like he's had like his chattering teeth come out and attack people and stuff.
The porta potty kill for part 2 is horrible. So, also going by Angel logic now. Angel is really a vampire, yet he's killed greater demons several times over that should be technically more powerful than him. Radu, I would say, is more skilled with a sword or in a actual physical fight. But like I said, Killjoy has that toon force, and that is pretty hard to trump sometimes.
I feel like it's kind of like when you have your grandma fight in one of those online games. They might know a whole bunch of stuff, but they're a little outmatched. They're a little out of their league. Killjoy is very old too, but Killjoy has a more worldly mindset where I think he's going to really confuse Radu when he starts pulling out giant sledgehammers and other kinds of nightmare scenarios.
True.
I think Killjoy has a childish unpredictability. I don't think it's a smart unpredictability. I think Radu will always be one up on him because he's just way too ancient, way too smart. He's seen it all. Killjoy, I think, could throw anything at him and he'd know. He'd be like, I'm right there at you. Yeah, I mean, there's just no doubt. I don't know.
Well, also,
guys, I'm not fully I have not voted yet myself. So in the chat, you know, Connie, I know you're here, Ariel, Jamie, Maverick, tell me what you're thinking, you know, because I haven't made up my mind yet. I haven't voted. I really love to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. Think
about it too. When you go to a UFC fight, you see the guy he's been training and training and training. He's really just serious. He wants to win. Then you got the Joker over there that's just running around. He's just as strong as this guy, but he's running around and he's going, I'm going to beat your ass.
You're going with like tortoise versus the hare type logic, which is good.
Well,
also grandma's boy logic. Doris Roberts did beat JD at that video game because she did know.
I'm leaning towards.
You know what I'm saying though? Their mind isn't really 100% there. They're too much of a liability. Where that serious, diehard kind of fighter, which I consider Radu, is just going to be unmatched. It's just unmatched. You know what I mean? So. If you get what I'm saying.
I don't know. Also, one thing about Killjoy though, he does have a crew from part 3 and up. They turn on him in 3. He honestly finds out Batty is like the reason why he's in the situation to be on trial in 4, but she also helps him escape hell. She also helps him escape Earth.
He doesn't get his crew though.
Oh, his crew's with him. They're on a ship on Earth.
He doesn't get his crew for this fight.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's my point, is that his crew helps
even if
him get out of these situations where Radu is used to working alone.
That's true. That's true.
And even if he
kind of like Angel from Buffy, if he was not really hot.
I think if Killjoy even had his crew, I think Radu would very slowly come in and take out each and every one of them.
Well, like
I'm gonna go with Killjoy. That's what I'm voting for. So I'm voting right now. I'm voting Killjoy just because I'm like wild card, yeah.
Well, like Chucky and Tiffany, sometimes having the crew isn't always the best because him and Batty have a very toxic relationship. She turns on him, she loves him. She turns on him, she loves him. Same with him on her. He does what he wants. He wins her back, does what he wants, wins her back. It's not always the best. Sometimes it is the downfall.
It's hard being evil and being in a relationship.
Right. So Killjoy's going to have a bad day with Baddie, Boop, and his mind ain't going to be clear. And Radu's coming at him, and he's just going to go, oh wait, what's going on? You know what I mean? So yeah.
It could be.
All right, now is the time, because I'm going to check on your comments, and when I'm done reading your comments, I'm calling the votes. So get your votes in. Let's see here. We've got Maverick says these are so tough. I'm leaning towards Radu, but I'm not that confident.
Same.
I'm leaning towards Killjoy. I do think it's so close. So I feel ya. Jamie is going with Radu. I would love to know your reasons why, Jamie. Ariel says, when I go see Renfield, I go and say this movie can't top off the Subspecies movies. The Subspecies movies are classics. It's going to be hard to do.
Underrated vampire series.
Right.
Maverick says, Radu's experience pushes me towards him, but Killjoy's unpredictability makes me nervous. Killjoy has not got power versus Radu being the seasoned veteran. That's kind of where I'm at too. Yeah. Just because Buffy fan, I'm going with wild card in this one, but I really do think being the seasoned veteran has a lot of pull. And I'm calling it, guys. It's Radu. Radu is your winner. Radu is going into the semifinals.
Damn.
Boom.
Boom.
One thing I always do on the show, even when I disagree, I always honor your votes. So Radu is the winner, because the time Buffy was in one, and
I just also want to point out that I don't think with this one specifically there was a wrong answer. I think honestly either one on any given day could technically win.
Jamie, I love that you're a Subspecies fan, and honestly, I will say I think the Subspecies movies are better, and I think Radu is a more interesting character.
I agree.
But I'm kind of a wild card myself, so I'm rooting for the wild cards. But I think Radu deserved that win, and I'm happy to see him go to the semifinals.
Yeah, and
Ariel says, congratulations to Radu, the king of the vampires.
Hell yeah.
Also, really cool name.
Yeah, it's a really cool name. And he's a really cool vampire. And I like...
You're a cool vampire.
Well, no, I'm not a vampire.
You're
but I think
cool.
It was a good...
Do you think Dino's a vampire?
That was a hard one. I think Dean?
Dino.
Like,
he's not really aging.
He doesn't look to be aging.
He's got a cool hat.
He might be a vampire.
You never know.
He wears a lot of black.
He does.
Don't. Well, my skin's so pale.
True. If I was a vampire, I'd have so many more toys.
Dino would probably be constantly telling me not to touch stuff if I ever came over.
Oh my gosh, he would. And I could see him being like, I don't drink. Why?
Oh, Danny, I think you would respect the toy.
I would not. I wouldn't manhandle them in a disrespectful way, but I would want to you got this.
Oh no, we're on the same wavelength.
Dino, Danny plays with his toys in the bathtub. I'm not even kidding.
Not all of them. I would play with
Good for you.
He will smoke his shark pipe and play with his toys in the bathtub.
Usually it's for the fun, but there's sometimes other ones too.
Listen, man, you gotta have fun.
I know. I'm just saying. Once I know that water's not going to ruin them. If I think they're going to get ruined in the water, I would.
He responsibly plays with toys in the bathtub.
I grew up playing with Ninja Turtles in the bathtub. So just even they had wind up water toys that actually made them swim across water. So that's just kind of how it was.
And before we get to the next fight,
exactly.
Dino, I have a question for you. Are you excited for the new vampire movie Renfield? That's from Ariel.
Oh, you're asking me this question.
I'm excited.
Nicolas Cage is going to be
and Nicholas Hoult is Renfield.
Yeah, a lot of Nicholas.
Oh my gosh, it looks terrible. I'm sorry.
Really? I love Nicolas Cage.
I'm only hoping.
Excited.
Listen, I'm only hoping that it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
if it's fun, because I love Nicolas Cage. Even looking at that makeup and how he looks and everything, I'm hoping it's fun. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
That's all I'm
I love your
from
honesty, Dino. That's why I like having you on the show. You're always honest.
I'm looking forward to it, but that's for the same reason. I don't expect it to be some deep classic, that we and ponder. I think it's going to be Nicolas Cage's Dracula in a silly way, and that's all I really want from it.
And my girl Jamie says she's stoked for Renfield. You and me
if he's over the top in this movie, Nicolas Cage, I'm saying, then it'll be great.
Yeah,
I will love it.
It's one where he
But,
should
you know,
be.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next fight. So, Baby Oopsie, we've already talked about her or them. I guess them is probably more accurate. But here's Baby Oopsie one more time for you. And it's doll versus doll, some doll on doll action for you, so to speak. In the other corner, we got Blade.
Is it bath time?
This is a bath time.
I play with my dolls in the bath. We established that.
So Dino, who do you think's gonna win?
Oh gosh, I think we're down to it. I think there's no doubt Radu wins it completely.
Who wins? Baby Oopsie or
I'm sorry.
Blade?
Listen, I've been on the air for 4 hours. My mind isn't there.
4 hours?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been an hour and a half.
He did his
I
own
did a stream prior to.
Ah.
Anyways, okay, Blade and Baby Oopsie. Okay, here we go. Can the acid take care of Blade?
Yeah.
It would harm him, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, without a physical body, we've seen like when Pinhead got his body broken in Curse. That does, without the body functioning, that does put him out of commission.
Because we're going for a KO is what we're doing. Because I think the spirit of Blade will still live on no matter how much. But I think Baby Oopsie might have the edge on this one. As much as I love puppets, the puppet masters, but Baby Oopsie has more in the arsenal. They're both quick. They're both ninja-like, I think. They're both kind of smart in how they move and play out and you know the next step. So I'm going to give this to Baby Oopsie.
I'm really surprised.
Yeah.
Danny, what do you think?
I do think the acid is a problem.
Yeah.
I think though, from what I've seen throughout the movies, I don't think it'll be enough to completely take Blade out because he dodges pretty damn good. He also has kicked Baby Oopsie's ass. It was more the male rapey Baby Oopsie from Demonic Toys versus Puppet Master.
Yeah.
But it's still a win over said opponent. And I just think if they fought 100 times, Blade would probably win 80% of the time. That's just how it is. He's more valiant. He's more agile, like when it comes to his like dodging ability. Baby Oopsie is a little lumbering. She's quicker than like humans and good at being sneaky around them, but I don't think she can be sneaky around Blade.
In all of the movies, though, who is the sneakiest? Who jumps out of the dark and attacks with?
See, I'm saying again, Blade is like the Jason Bourne of Full Moon. Blade is so clever, and I think they have similar abilities. Blade is more stealth attack, and honestly, Baby Oopsie, that is her edge she has with a lot of the people she kills. Like when she kills I can't remember her name, but she kills the woman's boss, and a lot of the people she sneaks up on. Nobody does that.
Video games.
Nobody does that better than Blade.
Yeah.
Blade also has the ability to use foresight to plan something out. A much more tactile, like war, like planning type person. That's where his brain is. Whereas Baby Oopsie is very
right in the moment.
id based. You know, she doesn't have a lot of patience, so she's gonna make mistakes by wanting to just kill somebody right now.
More impulsive.
More impulsive. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I think she's gonna fuck up because I think Blade is playing chess and she's playing checkers.
I think if the scenario is that there's a movie, it's Blade versus Baby Oopsie. I think they wrote the story to where Baby Oopsie has that chainsaw, jumps out towards Blade, the throw up acid goes all over him. She cuts him all to pieces. That's a KO.
Yeah. I agree. I think I think this is a good match.
I'm not saying that she couldn't win. I think that Baby Oopsie is more than capable to take out Blade on a few times, but I just think most of the time that acid's gonna miss. Most of the time the chainsaw. She also loves to announce herself. She is pretty sneaky on some kills, but sometimes she wants to see the shock on your face. Yeah. Where Blade will just straight up be quiet because he doesn't talk and stab you right in the throat. So I think he's just going to get the job a little more efficiently done.
Can I change my
it's
vote?
really
Yeah, I
good.
think you're right, Danny. What am I thinking? Yeah,
No, I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think
There really is.
but I think you're right though. Time after time after time, I think Blade would probably come out on top a lot more than Baby Oopsie would. But I was given a scenario where I thought maybe
I
if
agree
it
with
does
that.
I think
happen,
your scenario is good.
You
And
I
know.
think it is a good scenario. I just,
stand by your gumption. I think you had a really good argument. I think honestly, these are really equally matched.
I feel
opponents. There is no wrong answer.
bad inside though, Gory and Danny, that I'm
Because you
going
love
against the
Blade.
puppets. Is what I'm doing.
they're both puppets. Though.
I'm surprised he went against
It's
them,
true,
but
true.
that's why I love you, Dino, because you're
Yeah.
picking who you think would absolutely, genuinely win instead of
Yeah.
who is your favorite character. I know you love Blade more.
Oh,
I think they both made it to this round for a good reason. And
Yeah.
I'm just giving the edge towards Blade, but I think there's scenarios where Baby
All right,
Oopsie
have
wins.
you voted?
yeah.
No, I'm doing
I
so
have
right
voted.
now.
I'm going
Oh,
to
geez.
read the chat's comments and then we are going to call it. All right. So, I got to scroll down a little bit. Ariel grew up on I can't pronounce XUXA, the show on US on a show in 94, and I always wanted to get to that doll for Christmas. I didn't get it, and that's my dirty secret name, Danny Knightmare. I'm with
Wow.
Dino, Gory. As you should be. Dino's a pretty smart guy. The IRS defeated Blade. Baby Oopsie would be no problem. Very good point, Fair Point Station. It's like Puppet Master versus Daromonic toys all over again. Yes, indeed. Guys, there is no wrong answer here. These are great opponents. That's what's awesome about getting to this stage in Fight Night. I think either one's good, but I did tell you as soon as I read your comments, I would call it. So let's call it.
It's a
The
blowout.
winner is Blade.
Yeah.
2 victories now over the demonic toys.
There you go.
So here we are. We've got Radu versus Blade in the semifinals. Did you guys see this coming?
Actually,
I thought Killjoy would go farther.
well, I figured it was going to be Blade versus either Killjoy or Radu. Like when I looked at it,
Yeah.
I saw Blade on that end, and I saw Killjoy and Radu on that end, and I wasn't sure there. But
Yeah, I think if Killjoy was at
I'm happy
Yeah.
for Radu. I'm glad he's made it. Radu versus Blade. This is an interesting fight.
it is.
Of course, Ariel, honey. Of course, we love you, Ariel.
There's no wrong answer, Muriel.
There are no wrong answers, and we respect you guys and your choice. The fact that you guys know the movies we're talking about right now makes you like our favorite people.
And,
Because most people we talk to are like, "What's a Radu?
and
Is that like some kind of spaghetti sauce?"
exactly? And honestly, the only way any of these would win is because the script says so.
right.
That is like,
Yes.
any of them could win depending on who writes the script. I mean, that's just how
So
it
this
is.
is just fun. Like we're all friends here, and it's fun to debate.
having-
It's fun to think about
exactly.
these characters in a unique way.
I love to speculate. It's great.
Exactly.
All right, so for the final fight of the night, guys, we've got Radu. Let's play his video one more time. If I can find it. Where'd you go, Radu?
I am overhead.
Seriously, where did he go? There it is. The ancient vampire who possesses the bloodstone versus the ancient puppet.
Can't help but rock out to that.
Daddy's
song.
rocking out to the song.
It's
Right.
time for a death battle.
I was trying to find a good song, so I'm glad I did. Dino, you hit me with it first. Who do you think? Radu?
I'm so glad that this fight night Radu wins. Woo!
He's calling it. He's Babe
Yeah,
Ruth.
no, listen,
I
Radu.
see. I like how he's calling the shot.
Right.
Like I love it. I love the confidence, Dino.
Well,
I love
listen,
the confidence.
Rod, how can Radu not win? I mean, what can Blade possibly do to him to win? There's
Changes
nothing.
his.
Remember, this isn't Wesley Snipes, guys. This is the little puppet guy.
Well, yeah, that one's definitely probably going to take out a vampire. But I guess Blade, he's had a syringe hand. He could probably change his hand to a steak. They'd probably do that if they did a crossover.
Well, let's hear Dino, and then I'll check in with you, okay? Let's go.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. I mean, Blade's got the knife. He's got. I mean, Radu's gonna hear him coming in an instant. I mean, Vampire's got great hearing, so the stealthiness of the puppet masters or the puppets just aren't going to work on Radu. He's going to know, and he's going to hear, he's going to sense, he's going to see. Even if Blade flew out from here, even with the blade, it's just not going to happen. I don't see any scenario. Let me think real quick where he can defeat him. No, I don't.
I love you, Dino. I love you. Long-time fan of your channel, and this is exactly why.
Yes.
I just
I
adore
love you guys
you.
too. So yeah, you throw me an argument because listen, I don't see any.
See, here's the thing. When it comes to Blade with Radu, I feel like Radu is very adept at dealing with little guys. You know, that's the name of the movie. The movies aren't called Stefan. They're not called Radu. They're called Subspecies. Radu's really good at handling small little minion type characters. I think Radu actually could become the next puppet master. I think he could bend Blade to do his bidding. He's very passionate. He's not necessarily an evil person. He does what he wants to do because of his beliefs of like love or what is right.
Isn't it a shame that we got great ideas for movies, but nobody else does?
I know,
Charles Band, give us a call.
But I feel like Blade is usually sympathetic to the person with the biggest heart, especially if you look at movies like Curse of Puppet Master. Mm-hmm. So I feel like because Radu does have a very big heart, we see that in Subspecies 2. I think he could actually get Blade to be one of his minions. If nothing else, he could subdue Blade long enough that he could win a fight. So I absolutely am giving this one to Radu.
I'm really definitely going with Radu on this. I want to put out a scenario though. If Blade wins, it's because heavy plot armor. That's what it would take. I think if they actually did do a crossover, I would assume, because usually the good guy wins the end of the movie, usually in a sense. I think they would probably actually make Blade win in the plot.
Like Blade turns the Subspecies against him?
Exactly. The Puppet Masters, you would also have to have Blade's like whole crew, where it's like Puppet Master.
I love how you say crew. Like we're
it's Puppet Master versus Subspecies. And maybe they kind of like infiltrate and become part of Radu's new Subspecies. Like maybe his little minions are dying and he's like, for whatever reason, he replaces them. But they would also turn on him, and maybe with the help of everybody else, you could see Blade like plunder a fucking steak arm into his heart at the very end when he's like, busy with all the puppets, like all of them, like who like eventually revolt and decide they don't want to help him capture the girl at the end of the movie. That's just kind of how puppet movies play out. But Radu would survive. He would come back in the next movie. That's just how it is, and that would technically be a KO. But it's so contrived. Like, in a sense, you have to write a perfect scenario for that to play out. And a straight up just physical battle between the two. Radu's got this like 95% of the time.
I think the Deadly Trio here is in agreement that Radu's got this, right, guys?
I mean, I'm rooting for Blade because he's the underdog and he's a lovable character, but no, Radu
I love
this.
Blade. He is just the best against Jason Bourne, no question. But Radu, I love Radu. I feel like Radu was the original before Angel, before Edward. You have Radu, and he wasn't all pretty and stuff. He was how a vampire, is. So before Lost, after Lost. And still a badass.
He's got his vampire magic, and I just think the Bloodstone itself is more powerful than
such cool lore. But he's got eons behind him, and Blade, that goes back to World War II. It's old, but it's not Radu old.
No, and
Radu's got the size advantage and the magic advantage.
And exactly, and I think that Bloodstone is more powerful than the Egyptian puppet master serum.
The Egyptian person.
It's just because. Egypt, I guess. I don't know.
All right.
It's everlasting.
How this goes. I'm checking in with the chat. Dino, Danny, anything else you want to say?
Blade, you're great, but you lose in this.
Yeah. Again, they need to be in their own little fight night.
Exactly.
Put
And
the
I think
puppets.
Blade has the
Will
best.
you come back for a puppet master night?
I said I'd come back any of these battles.
What about a trauma night?
Trauma and puppets? Yes, I'm there.
Dino, honestly, we love you so much. Anything you want to do, we'll make happen on a fight night. So.
We need to still show up on his show soon.
Listen, I'm working on
cool
something.
enough to be on his show.
No, he invited us. We just got to
Really?
figure out a date.
I'm gonna go.
No, we'll get you on there. Yeah, I'd love to talk something.
Fancy! I'm gonna wear my best earrings.
If Elise has some breath in her, she can.
Elise is cool. Elise cool. All right, let's check in with the chat and call the winner. Connie Cleary says Blade has stealth. This is true. Kevin says those Puppet Master puppets and Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys were really having an off day. They didn't look quite up to snuff in that film.
No, they looked like shit.
Baby Oopsie looks like Demonic Toys fan film, and I don't like it, Danny. Oh, Ariel, honey, give it a chance because I thought it looked terrible too. But the characters are really well developed, and it really is funny.
The first one, especially.
It has a lot of heart to it. I thought it looked terrible, but Ariel, give it a chance and let me know what you think of it. Message me on Twitter.
We had to watch it just mostly for research for the Oscars, but we were glad we did. The first one,
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Kevin says my pick for this one's easy. Radu will stick his fingers on Blade. Sorry, Blade. I have to go with Radu, King of the Vampires. This is really hard because I love both characters, but I gotta go with Radu. I hear you, girl.
I like
Radu for the win. Laugh out loud. Blade could do that, Danny.
He could.
Dino, our fearless leader. Indeed, indeed. We will follow you. I will follow
Please.
you.
Don't follow me. I don't know where I'm going half the time.
And finally, Kevin. Charles Band isn't that hard to get a hold of. He has answered back every email I have sent him. That's because you're cool, dude.
He actually has retweeted a lot of my reviews and stuff.
I will say something I gotta say about Full Moon, which is really cool. Like tonight, I tagged them when I tweeted this out. Full Moon does actually follow me, and I'm a small little nobody on the internet, and they retweeted it. So Full Moon is pretty rad.
Even though Screaming Soup did a whole season where they were like, it was gonna be Full Moon versus Trauma, and Charles Band was like, I'll gladly he appears in it like in physical form where he's got like 2 naked girls with him. Charles Band, that's what he does. But he's like, I'll happily be a part of this, and I'll happily prove it. Where Lloyd Kaufman, as much as he's cool, he's like, no, don't do that. So they had to censor it.
Lloyd Kaufman, he retweeted some years ago one of our videos that we did, but I thought that was kind of cool. But
I met him. He sold me because I had the Toxic Avenger on VHS, but he sold me my DVD copy in person. So that was
nice. And Dino actually is in the same town as Charles Band right now.
So. Charles Band is 20 minutes away. He moved to Shaker Heights here because making movies here is literally 0 cents for movie companies right now.
He'll gladly put you in his movie. You're a local.
Oh no, I threw something out to him. I'm yet to hear from him though.
Just be like, oh, this play button's so heavy.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. He'll definitely want you on there.
That's so cool. I'm so happy for you. Seriously, I've seen a lot of YouTube channels that got play buttons, and none more deserved than yours.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome.
Really rad. I've been a fan of you since the beginning. So since I've been watching YouTube.
Thank you. Quit it now. Stop it. Stop it.
We love you. We love you. We love you. All right, let's call the vote before it gets too mushy up in here. And you guys know it. You love it. Who is the winner of the Full Moon Face-Off? Danny, tell him.
King of the Vampires, possessor of the Bloodstone, Radu.
Yeah. And he said that's the face only a mother could love. You're right. His mom actually is a big
heck yeah.
So Radu wins, guys. That was an awesome fight night. Super fun. Ooh. Guys, let me know in the chat what fight nights do you want to see. So we're moving up into our they got 2 big shows I do here on Sundays as I do what we love about, because I love to talk about what I love about horror movies. We're going to do a whole series on Evil Dead, which this guy's going to join me for a lot of them. The first one.
Unfortunately.
Got
a business.
And I love to do fight night because it's just fun. So let me know, guys. Is there a franchise you want me to cover on what we love about? Is there a fight night you want me to do? Dino, do you got any ideas? What are your favorite franchises?
Again, Full Moon Universal Horror is my two favorite, but
I love Universal.
I've just
You're a big Vincent Price fan
We
too,
did
right?
one of those, too.
Oh yeah, Vincent Price.
It was my
Anything
first
old,
love.
you know that anything old school, you can go Vincent Price. You can go old school horror actors fight night too,
Yeah.
with Boris Bella, Peter Lorre, Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee. There's many things you can do.
I
but-
think it would be fun to do a Hammer fight night like we did with the Universal.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Would you
That
be
would be
down for
fun.
a trauma night?
Yes, I said.
No, I have to be
definitely
honest. I
trauma.
need to watch more Hammer before we do a Hammer night. I'm a Universal gal,
Yeah.
diehard. Universal Studios is my Disney.
Yeah,
I've seen
same
almost
here.
every Trauma and Hammer movie, but I would still probably brush up because those are not ones I've seen like a lot of, like more than one time. Like we're Full Moon, I've seen most of those movies more than once.
Yeah, Ariel asked in the chat. Listen, I hate to say anything, but I am always truthful. I'm not a big fan of the new Full Moon stuff.
Not as much.
No, I mean they're fun. Don't get me wrong, but
And they're not as good as the original. Like if we did another
90s
one, I want to
fun.
do like Shrunken Heads and some other ones.
no,
But
there's some
the
fun
big
ones.
Oopsie movie, give it a chance because
Yeah.
I was like, why is this so good?
No, actually, the ones that are just now coming out are actually pretty damn good. I want to say that. The ones in the 2000s through 2010s and 2015s even, not as good. Not as good for me. The 90s was really great. That was like perfect Full Moon for me. But honestly, the brand new, because he's like releasing stuff that's really new right now, actually is pretty damn good.
He's got a Bride of Head of the Family coming
Exactly.
out. But guys, let me know in the chat. Like, what are some franchises I haven't covered on the show, on Fight Night, on what we love about? Like I said, we're going to begin doing what we love about the Evil Dead franchise. Are you an Evil Dead fan, Dino?
Of course I am. How can I not be? I mean, some of the greatest horror films ever made. Yeah.
Awesome. I might have to have you on for that if you're
I
interested.
think you could even probably do like 8 characters by Vincent Price all against each other. 8 characters by Bruce Campbell all against each other.
I love Vincent Price does things to my nether regions that I can't talk about on YouTube.
I'm just saying you could pick a specific actor and get like 8 different roles for fight nights. I think Bruce Campbell would be pretty good, and Vincent Price would be really good.
That's a good idea. Like, what's their strongest role?
Yeah, like yeah, but I mean, he's got
the character themselves in the movie by that actor. Yeah,
who could beat what?
So yeah, no, great idea, man.
Great ideas. Kevin says Ariel wants to see a Warner Brothers Fright Night. Kevin says, I'm glad you got that whole ridiculous YouTube monetization thing sorted out. Also, I want to see Claude Rains versus Vincent Price and Invisible Man. So original Invisible Man versus Invisible Man Returns. Cannot say all these words. I, unpopular opinion, really love Invisible Man Returns.
Yeah, you could also just pick like different versions of said character. Like have 8. Some of them have about 8 or 4 at least.
I actually thought about doing a Dracula Fight Night.
The
best Dracula.
I tell you this, and thank you, Haunted by Horror. It's why I work my ass off 7 nights a week. Not only do I do my overnight, but YouTube says, anyways, I won't get into it, but I have original content Monday through Sunday. I mean, it's just nonstop. But anyways, if we take Claude Rains versus Vincent Price, the movie with Claude Rains, I love better. The character of the Invisible Man, Vincent Price, I like him better as the Invisible Man.
There you go. You could have those two. You could also have Kevin Bacon. You could have the Invisible Woman. You could have the newest one.
The new one.
Yeah, you could have a bunch of invisible men, like and women,
you could
go against each other.
Yeah.
Dino, do stay after the credits because I have a question I want to ask you if you can.
Sure.
Yes. And guys, before we go, Dino, tell them what you're working on and what they can expect on the Late Late Horror Show, which is so easy to find. Type in the Late Late Horror Show or check out the link in the description below. If you're not already subscribed, you are missing out. What can they expect on your show, Dino?
Oh boy, something every night. Anyways, listen, there's always what we do overnight is the old time radio shows. It's 12 hours long. They're great for anybody who doesn't. Lots of horror. Tonight is sci-fi night. So anyways, other than that, I talk about horror all the time. I just got done doing like 40 Giallo films within the past 4 months, discussions, 1.5 hour discussions on those. But the next thing coming up is I'm hitting old school horror, Mad Love 1935 with
Nice.
Peter Lorre, Peter Lorre, Mystery of the Wax Museum. And I'm also hitting the Blind Dead series, doing some European horror from the 70s. Their Tomb of the Evil Dead. So listen, I've got something going on all the time. So
What's happening on Horror Addicts, Danny?
Well, tomorrow night we're gonna be playing Puppet Master Live. I also
The video game.
yeah,
on
the Puppet
Steam.
Master video game on Steam. Play that live. I also hopefully next month or this coming up. Yeah.
And you can always catch live streams on Horror Addicts, which is Danny, myself, and our son, Mondays at 7
Yes.
Pacific Standard Time.
Also, I believe that for April, I'm hoping to start up some full moon reviews again. So hopefully, Evil Bong 3 will review in April's full moon.
Ariel, I love that idea. Hit me up, girl. On my channel, next Sunday will be What We Love About the Original 1981 Evil Dead, one of the best movies from the year I was born. I am very excited to talk about that. I believe I have Count Jacula and Patrick from How Cheetah Will View on the show. I will be on Danny's show tomorrow where we'll be playing Puppet Master. And if you're part of the B Movie Coven, we're going to be doing a watch party of The Love Witch on Wednesday. So lots of fun stuff this week. Hopefully I'll be on the Lately Horror Show sometime in the future.
Soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can always catch me here 7:30 Pacific Standard Time PM on Gory B Movie. And guys, you know, I keep saying it, but I'm going to have videos on here again soon too.
And for whatever reason, if you missed the Oscars, I want to say the Late Horror Show did an amazing job presenting Best Documentary. So go check out the Oscars for lots of reasons, including
Thank you. Yeah.
Dino, it was such a
fun.
pleasure to have you here. You're
Thank
such
you.
a fun guest. I love hanging out with you. And Danny, you know, when you're not here, people always ask, "Where's Danny?" So love to have my best guy, guy here. My husband, my partner in crime, one of my favorite channels on YouTube, Danny Knightmare of Horror Addicts, and one of my other favorite channels, Dino of the Late Late Horror Show. Please do check out their links in the description below. You're probably already subscribed, but if you're not,
Wait, what's your channel again,
got a
Danny?
treat for you.
Horror Addicts?
What's that?
So what's your channel again, Danny? Horror Addicts?
Yeah, Horror Addicts.
I've been subscribed for 7 years. Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
Longer than that.
You know what? Now, we go way back. Way back.
back.
I just hate myself.
The
in
way
face.
back horror show.
Yeah.
Yes. The way back show. Anything you guys want to say before we call it a night?
As Baby Oopsie would say, "Hail Satan," or as I would say, "Hail Danny Devil."
There you go.
I want to see more Danny Devil.
Okay. I'll bring him out.
I love it, Dino. I love it.
More Dino, more Elise, more Danny Devil. Just
Elise
need
is
more
also
in
a
my life.
treat.
All of
she knows her stuff.
She's
Not
wonderful.
getting
catch
his-
that Auster Strangler eventually.
All right, boys. You say goodnight to everyone in the Gory Hole.
We're out.
Later.
And until we meet again, blessed be.